So,
So
uh,
you now have 8 locations open, and
yeah.
how many of them are brick and mortar? How many of
So
them converted?
yeah, so we opened up in Idaho July 2021, and then we didn't move. We expanded to Colorado to Denver in March of 2022.
Oh,
Reason being, Meg, is because we knew we were going to have kids. We knew we wanted it to be on the West Coast because that's kind of, or West, because that's where we're going to be. I didn't want to be flying all the time to Miami or to Chicago. So I wanted it to be close, maybe a day or two business trip at a time. And then I didn't really want to work on the coastal markets. And then Phoenix was taken. Utah at the time was kind of reserved because for different reasons. Anyways, and then Colorado just seemed like a great market for us. So that's why we decided to go there. I mean, we were the type where we didn't just want one and done, one or two locations and calling it type of situation. We knew we wanted growth. This in a lot of ways, whether it leads to like full on retirement, so to say, or like some type of big sale in the end of it. That is our end goal.
mm,
But whether this concept gets us to like complete kind of financial freedom, so to say, or not, I don't know. But that's our goal. And so I knew that 2 to 3 locations wasn't really going to do that. And so we wanted a bigger market to chew off of. And I also realized at the time, selfishly, that the brand would grow pretty quickly. And if we didn't hop into another market and start expanding, then territory would be swallowed up. So that's kind of some of the reasoning there. Yeah. And we've been really happy with it. So we have 4 in Denver, 1 in Boulder, and 2 in Colorado Springs. And those are
uh,
all,
wow. Okay. So for what is that, 7 then?
yeah,
In
7.
okay.
And then 3 of those, 4 of those now have 2 rooms.
Okay. So, and the long-term plan, you're a real estate guy, is to move into brick and mortar.
Yep,
I,
absolutely.
I would think that from a revenue and profitability standpoint, you've got to get to that brick and mortar,
Yeah.
um, due to
Yeah.
size and number of clients that you want to service. You're pretty restricted on 7 days a week in a suite. You do have the opportunity to do 24 hours a day. Probably you could get
Yeah.
people
I
in
mean,
and out, but
we're typically open 8 a.m. to 8 p.m.
okay.
And so someone will work from 8 to 2 and then 2 to 8. And then it's fascinating though. In these suites, I mean, you could see 25 people in a room in a day. And so, we do typically 20-minute appointments for a Brazilian membership, and then anywhere between 20 to 25 if it's a first time promo, someone coming in for the first time.
Yeah.
So you fit a lot of people in there. So you could do in a 1 room location, you could do over 20,000 in revenue easy per month. So, and then 2 rooms. So I mean, you can do that. And then obviously when you move to a flagship, like there's more, the benefits of a flagship are, one, you have more enterprise value. And so if you ever do want to sell in the future, most people, although cash flow is extremely
Right.
important, number one, you do want longevity. And so people are going to want to know that you're there for the long haul and that you have a lease in place and that you can't just get kicked out tomorrow type of thing.
Right. Right.
So that's one big piece of it. But another one is just recognition, hiring, and organic leads. I mean, all those come very naturally if you have a brick and mortar. So, but our digital advertising is good enough, and our ads team is good enough to where we could operate in suites for multiple years just fine and very healthy as we're looking for these long-term leases.
Interesting. I didn't realize the brevity of the appointment and how many people you, and it's a nice price point too. And it's waxing, sugar, and
Yeah. So
electrolysis.
waxing, sugar, and we are just getting into the laser hair removal side of
Okay.
things. So I'm a guinea pig for that too. So there's about 4. I've been a guinea pig for a lot of things, but there's about 4 of us that operate lasers. I have 1 in Denver and 1 in Idaho, and then there's Kansas City, Vegas just added it, Arizona, and then they're working on Texas. So
And
Nashville,
how
right?
has
Yeah.
that impacted? Okay, so what's nice about a franchise is that they tend to be who they are. You know what your revenue streams are, carefully adjusting as you go.